Originally released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 as Earth Defense Force 2025 back in 2013 in Japan and 2014 in the US and Europe, we have Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair. The 4.1 moniker coming from the Japanese title of Earth Defense Force 2025, which translates to Earth Defense Forces 4. From this point I'll just shorten to EDF, which in turn is a remake of Global Defense Force EDF2 on the PlayStation 2. Developed by Sandlot and published by D3 Publisher, with Xseed Games handling localization, EDF 4.1 is a remaster featuring the content of EDF 2025, as well as an expansion released for PlayStation 4 and PC in 2015 for Japanese and North American PS4s, with European PS4s and PC released following in 2016. The game serves as a sequel to EDF 2017, which was released on the Xbox 360 back in 2006-2007 and the PlayStation Vita in 2012-2013. The footage that you're seeing of EDF 4.1 is from the PC release of the game. For interest, you can also check out 16-Bit's review of EDF Insect Armageddon on the channel as well. Set 7 years after EDF 2017, the world is once again under threat from giant insects, alien robot things, or Ravagers, and not Godzilla. And it's up to you and some friends, if you're playing multiplayer, to destroy them all while screaming EDF at the top of your lungs. Defend the Earth as the Ranger, Wing Diver, Air Raider and Fencer representing the EDF Storm Team through 89 missions, with some more missions available through DLC. But is the game any good? Find out in The Good. The dialogue in the game is something I really liked, from O'Hara's philosophical ramblings and comments on the giant insects and Ravagers, to the somewhat incompetence of HQ and the more sensible and level-headed tactics officer who usually has the job of trying to talk sense into HQ. The dialogue has that cheesy feel to it, and it's also reinforced with banter between the soldiers of the EDF, even if it doesn't make sense sometimes. The soldiers would ask one another why they joined the EDF and what they plan to do after it's all over, to screaming EDF or breaking into song in the middle of battle. You also have a chat wheel which can be customized with preset comments, and if you make some of those comments on the battlefield while leading a group of soldiers, they'll reply in return, which I thought was also a nice touch to the game. Each class in the EDF games has generally been unique, and 4.1 is no exception. Each of the 4 classes play differently, as well as have their own sets of weapons, a whopping 825 weapons between the 4 classes, and it's recommended that you attempt the game as a ranger to get the hang of things, as they appear to be the most balanced character. The Wing Diver is agile and gains the ability to fly at the cost of reduced armour, and her weapons and flight capabilities are charged through her jetpack's generator, which recovers over time. The Air Raider is the game's support class, having the ability to call on airstrikes, as well as requesting vehicles that he and the ranger can use. The Fencer is the game's tank, being very slow but with a heavy arsenal to back him up, ranging from Gatling guns and missile launchers to melee weapons. However, the Fencer is a more difficult class to learn, but mastery of using him makes him a force to be reckoned with, especially if you can make use of his boosts to get around a little quicker. While I played through a majority of the game as a ranger, I had a lot of fun experimenting around with the other classes too. There's also a very satisfying feeling when you shoot a building and you watch it crumble and fall apart. Also, did I mention you can fight Not Godzilla and a giant robot? There's nothing else in this game that's cooler than that, aside from the mission where you fight as kin alongside the other EDF members in giant robots. The game has a large replayability factor, which also ties into making your characters stronger. The game recommends that you play on lower difficulties so you can get the hang of the weapon varieties, different classes, and to increase your armor, or health, for the more challenging difficulties. The game has 5 difficulty levels: easy, normal, hard, hardest, and inferno. As you pick a more challenging difficulty, friendly fire has larger consequences, the enemy becomes more aggressive, deals more damage, becomes harder to kill, and in some cases you'll even fight mutated variations of them. The trade-off to this, however, is that you'll get much stronger weapons to combat them with. You also gain these benefits when playing online too, which is a good incentive to play the game online with others around the world. Just don't be a big idiot like me and think you're ready to tackle a level on hardest or inferno on your first playthrough. What I will tackle, however, is the bad. The game does lack in consistency and level variety in some places, jumping between fighting insects to Ravagers, then back to insects, and suddenly not Godzilla. While it does follow a story arc of sorts, some connections don't tend to get made. Not Godzilla, or Urginus, is resolved quickly, and the game provides no explanation of how others of his kind stayed undetected this whole time, and later sections of the game even throws in dragons without much explanation other than appearing and taking out other units. At least giant hornets made sense. But I suppose the game is meant to be a little cheesy, so this is to be expected. Another issue I've noticed is that the game can get a bit crowded. It's not unusual for you to be swamped by a bunch of insects, dragons, or stingers shot out by giant hornets, but it does seem to overwhelm you at times. Dragons have such a huge wingspan that if you're caught in the middle of a group of them, it's a little difficult to see if you're shooting a live one or a dead one, but I would only consider this a minor issue. Despite everything going on, my rig was able to keep up just fine, only dipping when I destroyed multiple buildings at the same time. The game also did suffer from the occasional screen tear, but otherwise ran smoothly. With that out of the way, it's time I give the opinion. Do you hate ants, spiders and hornets? Wish you could just grab a gun and shoot them? Well, this game's right for you. The cheesy factor of the game combined with shooting up bugs and alien robots to fighting Not Godzilla and a giant robot made for hours of fun. But I do feel that the game is best experienced with friends more so than single player, so split screen co-op and multiplayer is something I definitely recommend. While I'd normally play a game with Japanese audio over English, this game is one of those exceptions as I think the English voices were cast well and all fit their parts perfectly. If you want an excuse to go shoot up bugs and save the Earth from an alien invasion, then EDF 4.1, or well, any of the games in the EDF series, would be right up your alley. I had tons of fun playing it, and special thanks to my friend Atsumachi from Supercrunch for giving me this game so I could review it. You can check out Supercrunch's stuff on their YouTube channel, which I'll link in the video description, and check out their podcasts in which I sometimes appear on as a guest. So with that, it's time for my rating.
From any alien attack, from fishes and insects who have once again come back, we'll unleash all our forces, we won't cut them any slack. The EDF
Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.